Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry,
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
and this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans of the show will know that we're part of the Creatives Group, the private network for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, therefore helping you to grow your creative business. That sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more? Please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the show. We'd be delighted to talk to you. But as I said, this is On the Couch. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
On the couch today, we are discussing a very serious topic, and that is the Rwandan Genocide. And that took place during the Rwandan Civil War in 1994 for a period of about 100 days between the 7th of April and the 15th of July. The Hutu militia, armed Hutu militia, went on a rampage and they killed members of the minority Tutsi ethnic group, as well as moderate Hutu and Twa. It's not known just how many people were killed, although it's estimated between 500,000 and 1 million people during 100 days. If you've survived something like that, how do you contemplate life? How do you continue living without having any hope? Well, on the couch today, we are talking to Fotine Williams. She was born and raised in Rwanda, and she's just written a book which was released in December 2023, and it's called Invisible Hope. You cannot see it, but it is there. So let's get Fotine on the couch. So, hello, Fotine. Welcome to On the Couch with Creatives, all the way from Missouri. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for having me, Julie and Melanie. I'm really, really happy to be here.
You're more than welcome. Let's kick off with just your background. Tell us a little bit about your life story. We know you were born and raised in Rwanda. Can you give us a little bit more about that story?
Okay, so I'm originally from Rwanda, in Kigali, and I came here in 2007, but I have lived in Rwanda my whole life. And my life story is at 7 years old, I went through a genocide, and my family and I had to move from Rwanda to different countries. And the first country we went in was Burundi, and we had to walk along with many other people. And we saw people that were being killed, horrible things that I didn't need to see at that age, but I did. So I say the first country we found ourselves in was Burundi, and then we got to Tanzania, which is where I learned English for the first time. We stayed there until 97. And after that, the genocide was over. So we went back home in Rwanda, and we had to start from scratch. My father is a businessman, so he was able to find his way around, and fortunately, God blessed his business, and he was able to get enough money to send me and my siblings here for education. So I got my bachelor's, and then I got married to my husband, Sheldon, and then we had two beautiful kids, and I decided to stay home with them until they got older. So now I'm here um, talking about the book that I just wrote, which is pretty much talks more about my whole story in detail.
It's quite an amazing thing for people who aren't or have never been involved in a war, what it's like, the terror, the absolute terror of knowing that you have to leave your home, grab as much as you can carry, and just start running. That is the most frightening thing about it. And you being so young, can you remember that feeling of terror?
I do. Yes, I do. It was very it was a lot going on. Like we didn't have time to process anything. We literally had the only time we had was to just run and leave everything behind, because we were at that point, all we were thinking about is our safety. And the best thing you could do is not even drive, just take the road and go. So that's what we did. And I'll be lying to you if I said we had time to think about anything. You at that point you're not really thinking. You're just literally just going. So that's it's so hard to explain, but it's every time I think about it, that's when I'm able to kind of go through the emotions of it, because at that point I couldn't.
No.
And I still do, because it was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine you, because it's say living through that, you're so wrapped up in the just in the moment, really, I suppose, of just get me from one place, get me to another place,
Yes.
listen to daddy, listen to mummy, do what we need to do. So when you came out of that and you reached safety, it's like post-traumatic stress disorder, did it catch up with you, later, months later, years later? When did it really start to impact you?
Okay.
What happened?
So the very first time I realized that I had kept it inside me and I needed to let it out was when I came to the United States, because people, were talking about it, they were curious. And I remember the first time I started talking about it, words couldn't come out of my mouth. Like, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I still have stuff that I need to, get off of my chest. I still have a lot of healings to do. I didn't even know I needed. So slowly it got better, but it was so hard and I wasn't even aware of it. And so I kept sharing and sharing, and it's gotten better. It never used to be like this. So, and that's how I knew also I needed to write the book to completely get it out of the way, kind of get in the open so that I can completely heal and completely accept it. So, yeah.
Well, they say writing is very cathartic. In my lifetime, I obviously have never been involved in a war myself, but I have lost loved ones. And I found in the right in the aftermath of the death that the way I could cope with it was to write a letter to them. So it definitely does have a cathartic effect on you. How long did it take you to write your book? Or in fact, when did you start and how long did it take you?
Okay, so my story is my whole life, especially after going through the genocide, and also I went through depression and suicide thoughts. After going through all that, I started slowly writing. So I've been writing for a while. And then I realized that the whole time I'm writing, I'm writing about hope. So I started writing this book a long time ago, and I didn't even realize it. Um, so I don't know exactly when I started, but it was a long time ago because I always write. And I realized that all I was writing was hope. And I'm like, I need to share this. Because after going through genocide and struggling with depression and suicide, I knew that God had something for me. Like, there's no way he would have let me still be here if he didn't want me to do something better with my life, something great with my life. And I just didn't have peace. And so I wanted to share my story, like I said, to completely heal. But I, after having kids, I was like, I want my kids to know that I struggled, that I did struggle a lot, but I did not let my struggle define who I was as a person. I want them to know that. I want them to know that, I used my struggle to better myself and to help other people. So, you know, I don't want to find myself in a deadly situation and just thinking, oh my goodness, I did not do what I was supposed to do, and now I don't have a chance. I don't want to find myself in that situation. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's one of the biggest reason why I decided to share my story.
So when did you decide to start writing the book? How long did it take you till publication?
I started, I'm trying to think when I really started, because I started around, I'll say November of last year. And then like I say, I had written so many things. So, and I just put them together and I read them and I realized, oh my goodness, I just have few things to write and my story will be complete. And so I realized I had been writing for a long time. So in November, that's when I decided to put everything together and I added few more chapters and I made sure the story was flowing nicely and then I didn't forget anything. And I worked with the publisher, uh, but you know, of course, I had so many questions because it's my first book. So there was back and forth. And when I got my book, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I had to redesign everything myself and learn the whole process myself. Luckily, there are great videos out there on KDP that helped me, and my husband also helped me with some editing. So yeah, and then I prayed about it, and God blessed it.
Fabulous.
But
When
that
you
was only like a month.
No, it wasn't like a month. So like the whole November, I was literally actively writing. So like November, December, and then some of January. So like I say, I only had to add few chapters and then make sure the story was flowing. Because I was writing, I had been writing my whole life. So it's not like I started from scratch and everything. Yeah, because I like to write. I just never put everything together. And it was my story and it just never changed. And I had to make sure everything sounded the way it was supposed to. I think that was the biggest thing that I worked on. Otherwise, my story was already there. I just needed to put it out.
What was it like when you came back to Rwanda after the genocide? I mean, so many people died. So many people died. It must have been very, very strange to come back.
It was weird. Like the whole country was completely different. Um, we didn't have our home anymore. It was so dark and cold. Um, People had taken other people's houses. Like I remember some of our friends were living in some of our houses, and we were like, "Oh wow, okay." So it's like friendship had been completely destroyed, and it's like we were on our own. So it was yeah, it was sad. It was very sad when we came back. Yeah,
Did you get
but
your
the
house back or had people already
oh
moved in?
no, we did not get our house back. No, um, they people had taken it, and you were trying not to cause any troubles or anything, so you didn't go trying to take anything back. So yeah, we had to get something else.
Wow.
Hmm.
And to find, as you say, hope through all of that and to pass that message on, because I mean, there are a lot of people in this world who have lived through a lot of atrocities. And I think the message of hope is really powerful because there may be people out there who are feeling, I have nothing left. What would you say to those people who are just thinking, I've lost everything, there is nothing, what now?
You know, yes, you may have lost everything, but look at you. all the things you just went through, you're still there. You're still breathing. Those things did not take you. Those things are not part of who you are as a person. They happen to you, but it does not mean they need to define who you are or who you are about to come. So believe that you can still change things. You can still look beyond what just happened to you and still change your whole life. It's up to you. It's up to you. I'm not saying you should forget what you just went through. You can even use what you went through to move forward, but you don't have to stay there. That's not your whole story. By the way, you probably just went through that for a reason. So use that to your advantage. It's not over. Look around you. There's still hope.
Yeah, I think that's very beautiful words, and I think that's really wonderful. You know, you're not dead. It's not over. You know, you have a purpose still,
Yeah,
and how you define that and what purpose you make that is down to you.
yes, it's up to you. It's definitely up to you to find your purpose and own it and move forward. Your life does not have to end that way. I mean, look at me. I went through so much, especially after the genocide, that have affected me mentally. And I just sat down. I was like, God, you keep keeping me here. What do you want from me? And I was like, you know what? I don't have to be a victim. He has kept me here. Like I had 3 suicide thoughts that I almost followed through with, and I didn't. So I was asking God. I was like, you know what? There is a reason why I'm still here, because I did not want to be, but He kept me here. So I was like, I'm gonna do something with that, because that's what you want me to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Mm.
And you know what? When I did that, I started seeing all type of things that He wanted me to do, because my mindset had changed. I wanted to be better. You know, that's where it starts, literally. That's where it starts. When you decide to look beyond what's happening to you, everything changes.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what that's going to be. That's why I call my book Invisible Hope. You cannot see it. You cannot see it, but it's there. It really is there. But you have to believe that it's there.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look around. It's there.
Yeah. And you're absolutely so right. You know, being a victim is a choice.
Yes.
It is a choice. You know, yes, terrible things happen, and you know, there's no explanation as to why certain things happen to certain people. But if you're going to keep yourself in that kind of bubble of misery and anger and hatred and poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, you know, you're the one keeping yourself there. Nobody's you know, keeping you there. And you won't see opportunities, and you won't see the beauty in life, and you won't see the wonderful things that could happen if you don't look beyond, if you can't get beyond the pain of what happened.
Right.
Yeah, it's very
Yes.
interesting you bringing that up, Melanie, because you know when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, and he was in prison for 27 years, and a lot of the world were expecting, and probably people in South Africa, they didn't know what kind of man was going to be coming out of prison. And a lot of people were fearful that he would go on a revengeful rampage. You know, he could have very easily sparked a civil war in South Africa, and he didn't.
Yes.
He came out, and his message was unification, forgiveness, unification. And somebody once asked him, why didn't you? Why didn't you come out and start wreaking vengeance against everyone who had kept you in prison for 27 years? And his answer was, then I would have still been in prison.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to heal, you can stay in that mindset. you will never heal if you do. So yeah, and I was gonna add earlier, like sometimes we go through things and we don't, it's hard for us to just get out and be like, okay, I'm gonna choose to do better and all that. I understand. Sometimes the things is like the trials are so bad that we can't do that. So in my book, I talk about how you just sometimes you all you can do is just be still. Trust me. Just be still and let another day go by. And it's not gonna be the same. Tomorrow is not gonna be the same if you choose to do that. Just be still and breathe. Yeah, sometimes that's all you can do.
That is very good advice. Absolutely. Sometimes just be still and breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, excuse me. So where can we buy your book, Fatine? Where can people get your book?
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So if you type in Invisible Hope by FOTINE Williams, it will be right there.
Fabulous. Love Amazon. Love Amazon. All the best stuff on Amazon.
And now, if this book is the beginning of the next part of your journey, how do people get hold of you?
Well, I have a Facebook page. I have Instagram, even my phone number, you know. I'm planning on creating a website where I can keep the interaction going, going around doing some motivational speaking. So yeah, I'll be all over social media.
Fantastic.
And I'm available anytime.
What's your social media handles, Fatine? Is it just your name, or do you have is it at Invisible Hope? What is the handle that you use on social media for people?
Right now it's my name. Yeah, right now it's my name.
Fantastic. The details will be going across the screen.
Okay, because there obviously are, there must be quite many Rwandans who have landed up in America. You and your siblings are still there, correct?
Yes, we are.
And also not just the victims of the Rwandan civil war, but also, you know, we have an ongoing war in Ukraine. You know, there are refugees all over the planet. There are wars going on and there are refugees all over the place. So your story, whether people are Rwandan or not, can resonate with so many people who have been caught up in conflict. So you probably just started your mission. You said you didn't know why God
Yeah.
kept you alive. Well, maybe you've just started on the taking the first steps on why you're here.
Yes, and yes, I wrote about the my story with the genocide and everything, but my whole story in the book was mostly about like life in general, mental health, and how to be successful regardless of the trials of life that we go through. So yeah, I talk a little bit about the genocide I went through, but the biggest part is how to get through life when life knocks you down, like completely knocks you down and there's no way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would your top 3 tips be for people like you who've gone through a very bad time, not necessarily a civil war, but have experienced something traumatic in their lives and want to write about it, want to not just tell their story, but also to send a message of hope out into the world? What would your top 3 tips be?
My top 3 tips will be, I wrote them down, will be number 1, don't wait for the perfect time. If it keeps you up all night, if you feel like something is missing because you have not shared your story, if you're passionate about your story, then go for it. It is your story, and you'll be surprised how many people benefit from it. The second tip is be yourself. You are unique, and in fact, that nobody is exactly like you. So you may have similar experiences with someone else, but they're not you. The way you share your story, your journey, and your outcome may completely be different. So I advise you to own your story. And the third tip is not everybody will like your story, and that's okay. You are not sharing your story to please everyone. You're walking in your purpose, and that's all that matters. God got you. This is important that you start with him so that he can guide you through and while you share your story, and you'll be amazed on how much he's going to bless your story. Remember that you remember that if you don't believe in your purpose, nobody else will. So find what that is and own it.
Very wise words indeed. Very, very good tips. Very powerful tips too. So I think gives people a lot to think about, you know, and I think, you know, being brave enough to start and committed enough to continue, you know, yeah, it's very, very important. It's very, very important, and being yourself, absolutely. Right.
How old are your children, Fotine?
The oldest is 4 years old and the youngest is 2.
Oh, they're still very young. So they still don't know their mother's story.
They don't. But hopefully they will one day.
Yeah, they will. Oh,
we now go, I'm sure they'll be very proud of you. We're now going to play a little game with you.
Okay.
It's not so much a game as delving a little bit into your psyche. Nothing to worry about. There are no wrong or right answers. Melanie has a special pair of or a pack of cards, and you are going to pick one of those cards, and then she will talk you through it.
Yeah, we're going to play the values jam. So I'm going to ask you to pick a card, and then because we're all creatives on this show, we're going to ask you creatively about how you feel about that particular value that you've picked. So I'm going to spread out my cards, and hopefully the camera won't go dodgy. And then I shall just run my finger backwards and forwards, and you say stop when you want me to pick a card. Stop.
Stop.
Right. What did we get? What did we get? Aha. Right. You picked ambition.
Okay.
Ambition. And so we're going to ask you creatively what ambition means to you. So, Fotine, what does ambition mean to you? Firstly, what does it look like to you?
Ambition. Wow. It actually just it reminds me of there's a song I really like that's called Oceans by Hillsong. And ambition to me is more like truly believe in something and go for it. I mean, ambition to me is active. You trust it, but you also follow through and you do something about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good answer. What does it feel like?
It's a scary thing, but the most beautiful things that could ever happen to you. Because because some people have ambition, but they're not aware of it. So when you have it and you're aware of it, it can be scary, but it's the most beautiful thing that frees you completely.
I like that. If it had a sound, what do you think it would sound like?
Well, like that song you mentioned just now.
Huh? Yes, it'll be like a song. Yeah. Have you heard of Oceans?
I haven't heard that. We're going to look it up now.
It's a beautiful song about faith and, that goes basically it talks about trust that goes above and beyond, so like trusting God that helps you go above and beyond.
I like that. Lovely. Very, very, very good answers, and very powerful answers too. I feel quite empowered having talked to you in this session. I feel like I've had a bit of therapy, to be quite honest with you. It's been fantastic. It has been fantastic.
Fotine, it's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful talking to you, and thank you for coming on the couch and sharing a little bit about your story. And we wish you all the best with your book and obviously beyond your book. We wish you all the best for the future.
I
Yes.
couldn't thank you guys enough. This was so I'm so honored that you guys gave me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much that you guys do this. It really, really means a lot. God bless
Oh.
you for it.
No, God bless you for sharing your story and sharing your mission with other people. So please, please, please do go follow Fotine on Facebook and Instagram and wherever else she'll maybe on social media. Do go to Amazon, check out her book, Invisible Hope. You won't be sorry that you read it. Buy it now. You will love it. And it will give you lots and lots of inspiration. So thank you so much, Fotine. Thank you to our lovely audience for tuning in today. But until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.